What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about 3 specific wide receiver terms that every wide receiver needs to know. So this is the first part of our wide receiver dictionary series. So we're going to be talking about all the things that we get a lot of questions about. Just that comes down to just the mental side of things for wide receivers, the physical side of things, but just some of the terms that you must know to play the wide receiver position. So I hope this video gives you guys some value, and I hope it teaches you a few new things. It's about route running, what you guys can do to create separation in all aspects of the wide receiver position. Okay, but also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want a full 2-week-long on-field wide receiver workout plan with all the drills you need to do to improve your route running in only 10 days and a 49-minute-long video on 20 different press releases and when to use it, check out our Route Running Bible. What it is, it's a buy one, get one free value. This is 2 programs combined into one. So it's our how to improve your route running in 10 days combined with our 20 press releases, when to use it, and drills to work on each one program. So I hope you guys can check that out. Buy one, get one free opportunity. Very first link in that description below. Let's get started with this video. So the first term, right? Some of you guys might be familiar with this. Some of you guys might not, and some of you might not know exactly what this means, but you may be familiar, is restacking. So we're looking at this clipper from Jamar Chase. We're going to talk about how a restack can get you a lot of separation and what's the benefit of restacking. Okay, so restacking is when you got a DB who's here, obviously, in press coverage, right? You could do this in press coverage. You could do this in like kind of a catch technique coverage. You can maybe do it in a situation where sometimes if you're out of the slot and you got maybe a linebacker who's inside shade trying to reroute you and you get back over the top and give him a move. There's so many different scenarios where you can restack, right? But the most common one that I would say, and the linebacker one isn't that common, but this is the most common where you got press coverage. Now, where's the DB supposed to be watching? He's supposed to be watching your hips, number one, and this number off the line of scrimmage. So if I can make this DB trail my back hip, I could get a ton of separation on this, right? So you see how Jamar Chase right here sets this DB up, is able to get hands, and getting the hands off the DB is a big one to be able to restack, right? Because this DB wants to get hands to screw up the timing with the quarterback. He wants to get right into your hip to reroute you to the inside so you don't have any space to run a route. Now, if I can avoid that, if I could set him up with my hips, you see how Chase kind of gives him this move to the outside here to get him off the platform? That's what sets up the hand technique, right? You get him off the platform, you beat that inside hand, that allows me to be able to restack, right? So when I'm able to restack, where's this DB going to be trailing? He's going to be trailing my back hip, like I said, right? So if his eyes are on my hips, I got to give him something at the top of this route to get me space. You see how Chase gives that little rocker step and that little hip shift to the inside right here. That's what's going to make this DB jump. And also, you'll get DBs in some cases who don't have very disciplined eyes. So what do I mean by that? I mean that their eyes are high. They're looking at the shoulders. They're looking at the head of this wide receiver, and that's not going to be able to get them to that's not a good way to be able to do that, because any receiver will get separation like that. They'll just give a little lean with their head and shoulders and get the guy to go. But as a receiver, what we want to be thinking is when I restack, I want to throw my hip to the opposite direction. I want to throw my hip to the outside, because that's what gets this guy to jump. That's what gets him to commit, even if he's being disciplined. So the first term that I love to talk about with you guys is just make sure that we restack any kind of man's coverage situation. My mindset on any route needs to be restacked. If it's a fade route, I want to restack so that quarterback's got some space to throw me open. If it's a post route, I want to try to restack so I can hit a rocker step and go. If it's a dig route, same thing. Corner route, same thing. So make sure that we know how to restack, what a restack is, and that's got to be your number one mindset every time you're coming up and you're facing press coverage. Okay, let's watch the thing full speed one more time. Great job restacking, hitting him with that 1-2, and then being able to accelerate off this break. So the second thing I want to talk about today, fellas, is range. Okay, so what is range? You may hear me talk about that a lot, but range is the thing that makes this DB make a decision when you're coming off the line of scrimmage in press. So range is not behind the line of scrimmage. It's not closing the distance. It's this area right between. I'll do it without the circle. It's not behind. It's not at him. It's this area straight in between right here. That's the range that we want to attack, almost like a 45-degree angle, because one, it threatens him vertical, threatens him here, and it's a spot where if he's going to get hands, he has to come at me. So that's the magic. That's the money-making spot that we want to try to get to. So we're looking at this slide release here from this receiver. Let's play it full speed. So he slides. You see great range, and you see what he's able to do to that DB when you're in that range. So this slide release is a great release to use where you throw a move off of it on a slant route or a fade route. That's the only time I like this move, just because it takes too long, right? It's a third read release. So I only like it on those 2 specific routes. Okay, I don't really like it on anything else in that. You shouldn't be doing a slide release, making a move, and then go and run a dig or run a post or whatever it may be. Okay, so now let's talk about it. So you see when he slides, this is like as good as it gets right here, because you see how this DB, we're forcing him to make a decision. Now, I love it when people try to compromise or try to combat this release with what they say, and they go, oh, well, if I see him slide like this, I'm just going to sit to the inside because I know it's a slant. Well, look at this. We could slide. We could hit you with a 1-2 and go run a fade. We could hit you with a slide and just take off if you want to sit to the inside. So you're forced to make a decision, and whatever decision you make, you will eventually be wrong as a DB, right? So when I come off here, that's the beauty of range. So range, you see this spot right here. If the DB wants to get hands, he can't jam and keep his base. What he has to do is he has to approach the wide receiver. And if he lunges at me and he loses his base and he's off balance, all I got to do is swat his hands. I just got to swat this outside hand, get him off that platform, and then I got about 5 yards of separation, right? And then now, what a DB will do on this slide release, if we use good range, is that he'll shuffle with me. He'll be forced to watch my hips, watch my number, and then I can really sell this thing and give that head fake, throw my hips to the inside, and you see what that does to that DB? That gets him falling, right? That's a perfect example of how to use range. So the second term that you must understand is range, fellas, because here's what a lot of guys will do. Here's the mistake that a lot of guys will make. They'll hear me say range, and they'll do a slide, but they'll be behind the line of scrimmage. If you're behind the line of scrimmage, that does not threaten him vertical. If you're going up against a good DB, you need to threaten him vertical. If you don't threaten him vertical, he ain't going to move. So if you slide behind the line of scrimmage, he's just going to slide with you. Let's say you do get him to jump to the outside. You still got to get here if you're running a slant, and he's still got a lot of space to recover because you're behind the line of scrimmage. Now, another thing that guys will do is they'll slide, but they'll get too close to this guy, and he'll just freaking jam you and get you right off this line because he's able to keep his base because you didn't operate in the range. You've got to make sure, fellas, against physical guys, against patient guys, that range right here is where you're going to make your money. That range is where you're going to be able to get the most separation possible, okay? So let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job using that range. Force the DB to make a decision so I could go create some separation, okay? So now, next clip we're going to be looking at here, third term I want to talk about is a trigger step, okay? So what is a trigger step? A trigger step is something you would use on a route like a curl or a comeback. It's like snapping down, right? So a trigger step is probably the most important thing that you guys need to do on any kind of break that involves you snapping down. So let's watch it full speed, then we'll break it down. So he's coming off here, does a great job giving this release, getting the outside, bam, trigger step, is able to drop right on a dime and get out of this thing. So the most important thing about this trigger step is it helps you eliminate time spent at the top of the route. So many guys get so caught up in, oh, I'm going to eliminate steps. I'm going to try to cut out as many steps as possible. Oh, I got to get out in less steps. I got to get out in 2 steps, right? That's not, dude, don't think that way. Don't be that guy. What you want to focus on is eliminating time. It's about eliminating time at the top of the route, just like how a DB is about eliminating time out of his breaks, about eliminating time spent of our breaks, okay? So when I get into this route, the best way to do that is with this trigger step. The trigger step is this step right here because it's the trigger that creates the snap down. It's the trigger that creates the hip drop. So the mechanics of a trigger step is that you want to be in stride. You don't want to chop your strides right before because 1, that takes away explosion. 2, that's an indicator to this DB that you're going to be making a break. You want to be able to stay in stride and you want to be able to drop in stride. Now, again, I talk a lot about the different workout plans and different drills that we offer on our website. Those are all the things that are going to help you guys work on these specific aspects of your game. I'm not just talking about it to talk about it. Those are the things that you need to do to work up to this point if you maybe cannot do this already, right? So when I snap down like this, you want to focus on, you have like a string attached to your chin and you're just pulling it down. You're pulling the string down, your chin's going to your knee because this is the explosive position of where you're able to decelerate on a dime while selling full speed, while selling vertical. The only way you're able to slow down running full speed is by dropping your hips violently like this. And when you could drop violently and actually get your weight down, bring your chin to your knee, this guy's going to shoot by. I'm going to be able to create some separation because now when you get him to commit to the fade because you're running full speed, he's reacting off of you. He's going off of what you're doing. So if you're able to drop on a dime like that, he's got to react off of you, and he's not going to be able to drop his hips like that because we know when we're making the break. So every break that you do that is a curl or a comeback, you need to be using that trigger step. That's why it's so important. That's why you guys have to know what that is. Can you do a trigger step on a dig? For sure, you can do a trigger step on a dig, but I like it on curls and comebacks. That's what I work with most of my guys because when you get your hips to that low explosive position, you eliminate time at the top of the break, and you create explosion to where if you're not close to the sideline like this, you could actually run out of this route. Let's watch it again full speed one more time. Great job using this trigger step to really be violent with his hips, get this DB to shoot by, and then I could get out of this break in the least amount of time spent possible, okay? All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it a lot. I hope you guys got some value from this video. I hope it taught you a few new things, and we're going to be making more videos like this on our wide receiver dictionary series. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comments below. I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And also, fellas, our route running Bible, over an hour and a half's worth of specific content for a buy one, get one free value. Hope you guys could check that out. Very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.